Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Mary Kyork. I'm an immigration lawyer. Today, we're launching our first video of a series of video called Kyork Immigration Law, Immigration Real Talk, where I answer questions that are sent to us. So we receive a lot of questions every day by email, by phone, by text message, in the office, walk-ins, on the street, all the time. And I've decided to do these series of videos to help you with some of the questions. I'll be able to give you more details in the next video, but essentially you'll be able to send your questions in. You can email them at info@kyorkimmigrationlaw.com, and we'll pick your questions sometimes, and I'll answer the questions. You'll also be able to comment at the bottom of the videos, and I'll be able to answer you. You'll also be able to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which we're setting up right now, in order for you to get all the notifications. So I have my coordinator, Tanya, here. What we do is we're going to put the questions in a jar, and then I'll be picking one or two questions each time and answer them. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a question. Yes. Thank you. So this question is, can I reapply for a visitor visa if refused? So that's a really good question. Mm-hmm. We get that question very, very often. So essentially, yes, you can reapply for a visitor visa as often as you want, actually, 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times. The problem is that if you're refused once, it's very difficult to get reapproved again. It's not impossible, and I've done some visitor visa applications that have been refused once or twice before. And then when we take it as a lawyer, a law firm, we have a certain way of applying that's a little bit more complete. So there are chances of getting approved again with good documents, a strong submission letter. A submission letter is a cover letter that, as lawyers, we prepare. It could be like 2-3 pages with the background and details. But just know that if you've been refused 2-3 times and you keep reapplying with similar things, or even sometimes with better documents, you can be refused. So it's important to maybe seek legal counsel or do a lot of reading before you reapply multiple times. So the answer is yes to that question. And then we'll take a second, final question for today. So this question is, can I renounce my permanent resident status? A good question. Not a question that I get very often, because if you are a permanent resident, usually people want to hold on to that permanent resident status. However, there are some specific cases where people want to renounce their permanent resident status, and there is a way to renounce it. If you go on the immigration website and you type renunciation, voluntary renunciation of permanent resident status, you'll have all of the steps. So for example, who wants to renounce their permanent resident status? So for example, if somebody was a permanent resident, let's say in the 1997, a person became a permanent resident, and then they left Canada, and now they want to come back. It's 2017. They want to come back as a visitor. They don't want to live here, but they want to come visit. That person essentially is still a permanent resident. So in order to do proper paperwork for the visitor visa, it's important to maybe renounce that permanent resident status. If not, there might be some confusions when you're applying for a status. Or, for example, if somebody's a permanent resident of Canada, but doesn't meet the residency requirement anymore, the 2 years out of 5 residency, but wants to come back and will be denied a permanent resident card or a travel document, and wants to be, let's say, re-sponsored through a spousal sponsorship. We have a recent file like that. Then that person has to first renounce the permanent resident status, which is a pretty straightforward application. I think it could take usually a couple of months. I think I've heard recently it could even take like 6-7 weeks. Then once you have the renunciation, then you can apply, this person can apply for the spousal sponsorship to become another time, for a second time, become a permanent resident of Canada. So yes, renouncing the permanent residence is possible. So those were the 2 questions for today. So please do send us your questions, and then we're committed to doing these videos once a week, every Friday, starting this week for 1 year. I don't know what happened after, but we're going to do these series of questions to help you out. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you.